Hello everyone and welcome to the TTM, the Token Minorities Summer Surge Bracket Extravaganza. I don't know, it's a thing that I'm doing on the internet for more Pokemon content for all of you. Now, this is unique in its entire format and design and creation and everything. It's totally original to the TTM, so shout outs to those guys for coming up with something new as draft format is evolving into something much bigger than I think it was ever expected to be. So right now what we're doing is we were invited to be an all-star, I guess I should have added those words too, is the TTM Summer Surge All-Star Bracket Extravaganza. It really needs that one word at the end. But we were invited to be an all-star in this bracket, and a participant really is what is really the word I'm looking for. And we were invited to compete in this really cool format that I thought was actually really interesting, and I couldn't say no to when I was asked. So shout outs to Jolt for asking me to do this. Now this is a format where you draft 8 Pokemon. There's a catch. Those 8 Pokemon must come from tiers, in the TTM tiering system, it's like 18 points down to 1 point, and all the increments in between. They must come from tiers 10 and below. So like 0.10 value and below, and you only get 50 points to draft all 8 Pokemon. Then you have one battle, first round. This first round is just for seeding, so the one you're going to see this weekend doesn't matter for my ability to continue playing in the bracket, it's just for seeding. So if I win it, I'm in the gold bracket, and if I lose it, I'm in the silver bracket, and that's it. That's all it does. It just determines where I go to the round of 16. Once there, in the second round onwards, it's single elimination, so you have to qualify for each round after that. But after each round, including the first, there's a round of drafting that happens. 2 rounds of drafting specifically. They add in 2 more points of valued mons. So like after round 1, we'll get access to the Pokemon in tiers 12 and tiers 11 for 12 points and 11 points, and a few extra points to add on to our total. So we have more than 50. And then we get to do 2 rounds of drafting, so down and up the snake, and you get to take the mons that you take. But you can go over your point limit and then go down as long as you discard mons from the bottom that reallocate the points. So you can go down in total number of mons, you can go over by only a few points and actually go up in total number of mons, I believe. Maybe it's 8 mon limit, I'm not 100% sure on that. But either way, you draft 8 with 50 points. You can keep your points left over as well to take for later as well. And then you get 2 rounds of drafting, and then if you win in like round 2, and you go to the round 3, you do another 2 rounds of drafting with the 14 and 13 point mons. And then if you win in round 3 and go to round 4, you draft another one with the 16 and 15 point mons. And if you win around 4 and go to round 5, you draft with the 18 point and below. And you can keep adding points to your total, and you keep playing out, and your team changes every single round. You can draft between every single round, which sounds super cool. I'm really interested to see how this works out. And I'm really excited that I get to be a part of this league in its formation, because being me and having such a small channel that's developed so recently, I haven't had a chance to be a part of a lot of these like creation leagues and founding leagues and things that are like developing a system. They've all been put in place, and like the GBAD league is so well oiled and so well established that like I didn't really change it. I just kind of got to play in it. Whereas this, I can actually go to Jolt and say like, hey man, I think this works, I think this didn't. He's going to ask for feedback. It's going to be really cool. So I'm really excited to be a part of the founding team. So speaking of the founding team, the New York Empoleon, let's be honest, we are in this to win this. We are trying our very darndest to give this our best shot. Since I have to upload and I have to show you guys, I might as well try to win it. So, we get to take 10 point mons and down, and it's the New York Empoleon. Let's be honest, I'm not getting a draft pick above 8th. There's 16 team pools, there's 2 of them. I was, I believe, 15th. So, not draft pick above 8th. So we go down, and a lot of people are taking 10 point mons. I mean, everyone's taking 10 point mons down the board, from Aerodactyl to Rotom Heat to Ninetales to Alolan form Ninetales. Like, it just went on and on, and everyone's taking them. I was like, okay, it sounds like I'm going to need a 10 point. I don't know how to play lower tiers. I don't ever play lower tiers. So it sounds like I'm going to need a 10 point mon. That's the best mon in the format. I might as well grab at least one. I know it takes a 5th of my points, and I still have 7 picks left afterwards, but I might as well grab one. And everyone's talking about, they think that fast rock types are going to be the way to go. And I was like, guess what there's none of left at 15th pick? Fast rock types. So Archeops was gone, and Aerodactyl was gone, and like all the fast rock types are gone, and Lycanroc's gone. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to get a fast rock type. Let me take something to maybe handle some fast rock types. So I decided to grab Embor. Obviously, if the fast rock type is attacking Earthquake, it's going to do a lot of damage, but at least rock isn't super effective against Embor. So I grabbed Embor first overall, or first in my pick overall. I thought it was a really interesting mixed attacker. It's slow, but it can be really, really strong, reckless, and some of the moves it gets are just absolutely stupidly strong. And it's a fighting type, which can maybe handle some of those rock types that people were grabbing. So I figured Embor seems reasonably good. It's bulky enough that it can take any non-stab Earthquake hit from most things, and it can just kind of dent anything. Let's be honest, if you slap something with any sort of fighting type move, or any sort of fire type move, or anything reckless boosted like Wild Charge or Head Smash, it is getting bopped. I mean, that thing is getting smashed hard. So I grabbed Embor first, and I don't have a lot of time between my picks, and so I decided that Embor is really slow. Let me try to grab Sticky Webs. But Masquerain was gone, and a couple other things were leaving, so I figured the best Sticky Webber for me to get was going to be Araquanid, which pairs super well with Embor. Doesn't really help me handle rock types as well. Those fast rock types are still really scary, but at least it's a Sticky Webber. It's a water type. It's really strong. 8 points was, it's expensive, but it's doable. So I grabbed Araquanid in the hopes that I can maybe use it really well. Special defensively invested Araquanid with Mirror Coat is definitely a thing. Liquidation is super strong. Water Bubble boosts its moves and makes it immune to burn, which is super cool. So definitely disincentivizing my opponents from bringing Will-O-Wisp right now between Embor and Araquanid. So lots of options there. And then it comes back. It's a long time before my next pick. It comes back to me. And I decided with my next pick, I was like, oh, what is the biggest threat left on the board? And I was just going to take it. I had not it was long enough that I forgot what I had already drafted. I'm going to be honest, I did not prep this draft at all. Even during it, I wasn't really prepping the draft. I was just reacting. And so I drafted Hitmonlee next, not thinking about the fact that I had already taken Embor, really thinking about the fact that everyone had fast rock types, and I wanted something that was going to handle them, and so I took a fighting type that I think could handle them. So I took Hitmonlee. It's a spinner. It was 8 points. Base 80 speed with Unburden, or also Reckless, or, a Reckless high jump kick from a Hitmonlee. That's nothing to sneeze at. And Unburden from base 88, I think is what Hitmonlee is. Like, that's pretty reasonable. That's very doable. So I think Hitmonlee really puts in a lot of pressure, makes my team really, really interestingly strong, but now really weak to flying type attacks. And so, having gotten comfortable with it, I decided, as it came back around to me, to draft Miltank, another 8-point mon. So I went 10, 8, 8, 8. And I decided to draft Miltank, and Miltank, again, is an interesting mon. I've been using it in the IBL and a little bit, just the 1 or 2 weeks that I've played so far, and it's putting in work. It's a really, really good low-tier mon. I'm kind of surprised it's this low, honestly. And so, fast, base 100, it's a cleric with heal bell, it's reliable recovery in Milk Drink, it's a stealth rocker. Normal type's great in this format. Thick Fat, Scrappy, and Sap Sipper are all viable abilities in this format. I was like, why is this thing so cheap? In every league, it's always under-tiered in my opinion. I don't know why it's so cheap. Probably because it's pretty passive as a tank. Doesn't really have the same offensive pressure as some other tanks, but it still puts on a decent amount. Base 80 attack is doable, and it gets such ridiculous coverage moves that it can be used that way. But also, you just slap on Toxic, Milk Drink. I mean, this thing's gonna sit there for a while. It's not going anywhere. And so it went around and it came back, and the draft was pretty slow. And I actually completely forgot that I drafted Miltank. It just was, I completely forgot it happened. I was like, okay, I have Embor, Arachnid, Hitmonlee. That's what I thought my team was. Came back to me. I was like, okay, I need something that's gonna handle flying types. Let me grab an ice type. Let me take Sneasel, which was also 8 points. And in retrospect, I could have done a lot better than a Sneasel, in all honesty, but I decided I was going to draft Sneasel for some reason. And so, I mean, I needed the speed. Base 115 speed's great. It's got access to Ice Shard and reliable priority. Hitmonlee and Sneasel both give me some priority coverage, which is really nice. Stab knockoff does a lot of damage. It's a pretty, notably good ice type mon. But I drafted Sneasel, and then it came back to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I did not cover my flying type weakness at all. Let me draft Rotom-Frost. So I drafted Rotom-Frost, additionally to Sneasel. So now I have 2 ice types, but Rotom-Frost is a much better switch into flying types than Sneasel is. it's way cheaper. So I figured, let me draft Rotom-Frost. I don't have a rock weakness that I have to worry about too much right now. Obviously, Araquanid's weak to rocks, and Sneasel's weak to rocks, but, like, it's doable. I know Stealth Rocks are probably going to be set up a lot, but I do have Hitmonlee and Rotom-Frost now as a defogger, so options there. Volt Switch is great. Base 86 speed is doable. It's pretty strong for the tiers that it's in. Access to Will-O-Wisps, super nice. I didn't really have a special attacker yet, to be honest, so I figured getting one is pretty good. And at this point, I had like 5 points left over for the last 2 months, because then I remembered that I got Miltank. Like, it was at this point that I remembered that I got Miltank. I was like, oh my god, I got Miltank. Great. That's a great thing to just suddenly happen on your team. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, Miltank, hello. So I still wanted an answer for flying types, something that was going to be able to check them a little bit better. And so I actually looked at Metang. I didn't have a steel type yet. Metang gives me another rocker. Miltank was my only one so far. Metang gives me access to priority bullet punch, stab steel, and an Eviolite which in low tier is very, very strong. So I decided Metang, come to the team. Let's see what happens. You're only 2 points. You could definitely be used. It's still pretty solid attack stat. And so it's still usable. Clear Body is still an amazing ability. Like Metagross uses it really well. So Metang, not going to be hit by Sticky Webs from all these low tier Sticky Webbers. It's not going to be hit by Intimidators, stuff like that. So definitely a good pickup in my opinion for Metang. And then finally I had 3 points left. I didn't know what was going to make the most sense on my team. Really nothing was standing out to me for 3 points. So I decided to go with Grumpig. Grumpig duplicates my Psychic type with Metang, but does such a different job and is a special attacker that I needed. Base 80, which I didn't have yet. I mean, I had like base 86 and 88, but I didn't have anything base 80. So it does a really interesting variety of things. Another Heal Beller, another Thick Fatmon. It gets some good hidden powers as a special attacker. It's a screener. So Grumpig doesn't such an interesting. I've never used one ever, like literally never in any game have I ever used a Grumpig. But I figured, why not try it? Let's give it a shot here and see what happens. So Grumpig, welcome to the squad. This is what we're going to be rocking with this season. Emboar, Araquanid, Hitmonlee, Miltank, Sneasel, Rotom-Frost, Metang, and Grumpig. I say this season, that's only for the first battle. After the first battle, I will be adjusting this team to get different Pokemon on it. So don't get used to these guys. I mean, some of them will stay for the whole season. You know, I don't ever think I'm going to drop Miltank. I don't ever think I'm going to drop Rotom-Frost for a different Rotom. There's really no reason to. Emboar is probably going to stick around. Hitmonlee, Araquanid I can see sticking around. But Sneasel, that could go. And that's 8 points freed up. That's pretty easy. It's duplicating typings. If I get a better dark type, maybe a Crocodile coming up, something like that. Definitely look for Sneasel to potentially go. Metang is great, but there are better steel types coming up as well. So if I can get, a steel dark Bisharp, that could really take the place of Metang and Sneasel because it duplicates with Grumpig anyway. And I'm probably gonna stick with. Let's be honest, Grumpig's not going anywhere yet. Grumpig is such an interesting mod. I was like looking up what it does, and I was like, oh my god, this thing actually gets some crazy coverage moves and some crazy support moves. So let me try it out. So Emboar was chosen to be my Zmon. I don't know if I made a mistake there. Maybe Rotom should have been my Zmon. I'm not 100% sure if I did that correctly or not. Don't know if I get to reallocate that at some point during the draft. We'll see. But Emboar, at least for the first battle, will be the Pokemon that is allowed to use a Z move. And I think this should be a really interesting little run that we have. It could be 2 games. It could be 6. We'll see what happens. But the first game's coming up this weekend. It's getting uploaded on Sunday. It's Team Builder on Saturday. So you guys are not going to miss this. This is coming up real fast. So I hope you guys are excited. I will see you guys with that battle and that Team Builder against the Choice Specs. Taking on him in our first battle of the Surge bracket format all time. Let's see what happens. Can we get a win in that round? I hope you guys are excited. I sure am. This is going to be crazy. There's so many draft analyses in so few days. I hope you guys are excited. I will see you guys later. Take care, everybody.